All right, welcome back everyone. You know your systems, you know your networks, and you definitely know how to keep the lights on when everything else goes dark. But today, as we wrap up this explainer, the fantastic tutorial Machine Learning for IT Professionals, created by Virtualization Options LLC, which, if you don't know, is a Colorado-based research, education, and advisory organization. We are looking at the ultimate pipeline. This is it, part 10 of their 10-part advanced tutorial. The finale. This is where we bridge that gap between infrastructure and intelligence to really operationalize machine learning at scale.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our agenda. We're treating ML as a logical systems engineering pipeline today, so we'll quickly cover why ML needs IT, core algorithms, pre-processing, feature engineering, training mechanics, and wrap up with production and control.
Section 1. Why ML needs IT.
Now, you might be tempted to think machine learning is just a playground for data scientists, right? But the reality, ML is already running under the hood of your infrastructure right now. Think about it. Your spam filters, your intrusion detection systems, your cloud auto-scaling platforms, they all rely on it. To really grasp this shift, we have to look at how we've traditionally built systems versus where we're headed. Traditionally, IT relies on rules-based, explicit logic. You know, if X happens, then do Y. It's safe, but man, it's rigid. Data-driven ML is a totally fundamental shift. It actually learns from the data itself to detect patterns and anomalies at a massive scale. It adapts autonomously, so you don't have to rewrite the rules every single time the environment changes.
So, the crucial point to remember here is this. IT professionals are the deployment, infrastructure, and reliability layer. ML models are literally useless without you. You are the bridge that takes these algorithms out of some sandbox and turns them into highly available, resilient production systems.
Moving on to Section 2, Core ML Algorithms Explained.
Okay, so to manage these new systems effectively, we need to speak the language, right? We need to understand the foundational vocabulary of what's actually running on your hardware. First up, supervised learning. This algorithm trains on labeled data to predict specific outcomes. From an IT ops standpoint, this is the workhorse heavily used in fraud detection, log classification, and failure prediction. It knows exactly what to look for, simply because it's been fed the answers in the past.
Then, we have unsupervised learning. This one finds hidden patterns entirely without labels. It's incredibly powerful for spotting the unknown. Imagine things like zero-day threat detection, or clustering weird network traffic that just doesn't match any known attack signature.
Next up is reinforcement learning. This learns via continuous reward and penalty loops. If you've ever wondered what powers adaptive resource allocation or those crazy advanced self-healing IT systems, well, this is the engine. It learns the absolute best actions to take over time to maximize your uptime.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the architectural trade-off you have to manage. Whether your team is using decision trees, random forests, support vector machines, or massive neural networks, picking a model requires balancing your infrastructure compute costs with interpretability. A neural network might be highly accurate, sure, but it is going to absolutely chew through your GPU budget, and it is notoriously hard for humans to interpret when something inevitably goes wrong.
Section 3. Pre-processing, the data pipeline.
Before any algorithm can do its magic, we have to handle the raw materials of our factory assembly line, which is the data itself. There are 3 critical steps here. First, treating data quality as infrastructure. Missing values, duplicates, or inconsistent formats, yeah, they will corrupt your training immediately. Second, normalization and encoding. This scales numerical features and encodes categorical ones so the model can actually digest them. And third, setting up your train, validation, and test splits.
And this brilliantly illustrates those splits. You're typically looking at 70% for training, 15% for validation, and 15% for the final test evaluation. The golden rule here? Never, ever let your test data touch your training data. Doing so causes data leakage, which is literally the silent killer of model accuracy.
Section 4. Feature engineering for scale.
So this is the refinement stage of the pipeline, where raw data is transformed into clear, actionable signals. It breaks down into 2 main parts. Feature selection, which is actively removing irrelevant or redundant variables. Let me tell you, dropping this dead weight leads to much faster, far more accurate models. Then there's feature creation. This is deriving entirely new variables, like taking raw server log timestamps and turning them into a handy requests per second metric that the model can easily track.
But what happens when you're dealing with massive datasets? Say, billions of network packets. You need dimensionality reduction techniques like PCA or TSNE. Basically, these mathematically compress high-dimensional data while preserving the core variance. As IT pros, you know this matters heavily for performance at scale. Keeping the system responsive is an absolute priority.
Let's move to Section 5 Model Training Mechanics and see how this builds.
Okay, let's demystify what's actually happening when a model is quote-unquote learning. Spoiler alert, it's not magic. It's a highly repetitive, incredibly compute-intensive mechanical process. The core training loop is simply this: predict an outcome, measure how wrong the prediction was, adjust the internal math to be slightly less wrong, and repeat. Millions and millions of times. This loop is exactly why ML puts such a massive load on your servers.
During this loop, you're going to constantly hear two terms: parameters and hyperparameters. Parameters are the internal variables learned natively by the model itself during that training loop. But hyperparameters, those are the configuration settings, like the learning rate or the depth of a decision tree, that are manually set by you. Honestly, think of hyperparameters just like the configuration files you tweak every single day to get a database running optimally.
Now, if those settings are wrong, you're going to hit two main failure states. Overfitting means the model memorizes the training data perfectly, but fails completely in production when it sees new data. Underfitting means it fails to capture any patterns at all. To fix these, engineers use tools like regularization and cross-validation to ensure the model generalizes safely out in the real world.
Finally, Section 6, Production, Impact, and Control.
Let's look at the massive operational impact of this entire pipeline once it's actually deployed. Check out this number: 72. That's the hours of lead time you can gain for predictive maintenance prior to a hardware failure. By training models on server telemetry, things like CPU spikes, disk I/O, thermal sensors, you shift from desperately reacting to a sudden outage to casually scheduling a drive replacement 3 days before it crashes. That is a real game changer.
And how about 60%? That is the massive reduction in mean time to resolution, or MTTR, when using natural language processing models for AI ops and log analysis. An NLP model can parse millions of lines of logs and surface the root cause of an incident way faster than humanly possible.
But here is the ultimate reality check for this entire 10-part tutorial. A model deployed without monitoring is a model you've already lost control of. IT discipline is exactly what keeps machine learning systems alive, accurate, and safe. Without your infrastructure monitoring, these models will inevitably degrade, drift, and fail entirely silently.
Which leaves us with one absolutely critical question to close out this tutorial. Are your current IT monitoring tools ready to track the silent, data drift failures of machine learning models in production? It's a massive challenge, but with the structural understanding of the ML pipeline you've gained today, you are absolutely ready to tackle it. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep building great systems.